You first?
Yeah. Gonna turn it up more.
You trying to do it? That's good.
I need not tell you.
It's alright, buddy. How you doing? How everybody doing, great? I wish everybody happy Hanukkah, happy holiday, and all of the above. As you know, I came here to speak about my personal issue, but because of what happened in Newtown, I wanted to kind of leave that alone and just reflect on the loss of the people who lost their life as a result of that young man doing what he did by slaughtering those kids and those teachers in that school. And I just wanted to give my condolences to them and to their families, and hope to God that the Lord would comfort them during their time of grievance and so on and so on. But I want to say is also too is that it troubles me that when you look at the fact that these kind of things have been going on around the country in terms of people being shot down and all of the above throughout this country, you wonder when will we really take a stand to really try to do something about gun prevention in our neighborhoods and around the city and around the country. And I would only hope that President Obama would think about not only putting a ban on those guns from those who want to buy them now, but as well as to what they call a recall of those of them that got guns, that got those kind of assault weapons, because assault weapons are what has caused some kids to get so many bullets drilled into their body, which was a shame. And I thank God for the little kid who laid on the ground, who tried to avoid himself from being taken out. And thank God he was able to do that, because I'm sure that he would have fired them up as well as he fired the rest of them up. And it's sad that someone can go to that extreme and do something like that. And even though we want to say that this person had a mental problem or some kind of a social problem, as we all know that there's a lot of folks that are being shot down in Chicago, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and all over the country. And a lot of them are being shot down with guns that they steal, guns that are broken in out of people's homes. And it's sad to see that those kind of things can go on. And as I was looking at the news tonight, I was hearing this gun owner say that people are buying them automatic weapons like never before tonight, as well as yesterday and the other day, because they fear that there's going to be a ban on those kind of weapons. And I would only hope that if the president were to take a stand that would basically say those guns that they have bought recently, as well as those that they had in the past, need to be recalled. Because there's no way in the world that we should have to have anybody in America to run around with those kind of assault weapons that could cause the kind of damage that was caused to those kids in Newtown. And it really troubles me, because we all know that when you go hunting for deer, or if you go hunting for a bear, you don't need no Uzi, you don't need no kind of R-15 or whatever kind of weapons that they use that would cause so much havoc on the people as it did up there in Newtown. And I would hope that if anybody who planned on running for Congress or for Senate, that we be willing to get behind those persons, because as we all know, the NRA is a group that has a lot of money, and I'm sure that they're going to put all the money that they can behind those of them that are allowed to carry their weapons under the Second Amendment. Now, I believe in the Second Amendment and the First Amendment, and that's why I say in the same breath, but when it comes to those kind of assault weapons, I say no. And I would hope that the president would try to appeal that, upon those congressmen and those senators, to say that those of them that have those kind of weapons, that he should put out an order that those weapons should be turned in within 60 days or 90 days, and if they don't, and they happen to find that they don't, that there should be some kind of charge put on them that would remind them of the importance of why it's so important that we put those kind of guns to rest. The only kind of people that should be allowed to run around with those kind of weapons are cops, as well as our military personnel. And to have our kids have to go to school to wonder if whether or not is this going to happen again to them. For those kids that and those family members that have suffered as a result of what happened to them, they will probably never get over that. As we all know, it's going to be hard on all of us, because I basically wept myself in terms of seeing that kind of thing that went on, because I know some 30 years ago when Superintendent James Conley was superintendent, and I told him back then, 30 years ago, that we needed metal detectors in the school, and I was crying about metal detectors because I knew good and well that we were killing ourselves in our neighborhoods and nobody was saying nothing about it. And my thought was always that one day that's going to come and harm us in our schools. And thank God that it has not happened to a lot of our local neighborhood schools, but for what has happened up there in Newtown, There's no excuse for that. And I would only hope, okay, that that never happens again, because that is something that I'm sure that we all will have to live with in terms of saying, could we have done more? Could we have informed our senators and our congressmen about the importance of taking the kind of stands that will prevent those kind of weapons from being on our streets? And I also want to keep in mind that we need to talk to those senators and congressmen and say to them, if the NRA come against you for wanting to ban those kind of weapons, that we will do all we can to register as many people as we can to make sure that they will be able to stay in office after they take the kind of stands that we know they need to take in order to make it safe for all of us. Thank you again for hearing my thoughts, and I hope to God that somebody will help us to get that word out to the president so that those congressmen and those senators, when they make those votes, that we will give them the support that they need to maintain their job in office. Thank you very much.